hope you all are having a fantastic day. Thank you all for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. It really helps the channel grow. If you enjoyed today's video, please give me a thumbs up. If you would like to be notified anytime I upload new content, you can hit that little bell notification down below. I will be commenting on Corvette C8 news as I wait to receive my Z06 allocation. I would love to hear from all of you as well, so please make sure to leave a comment and let me know what your thoughts are. I would like to thank you all for joining me on my journey, and I really appreciate all the support. Stay safe out there. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's going to take a little bit of time today and kind of go over some of the news that's all over YouTube right now. Good old Chevrolet dealerships having their ridiculous ADMs out there. I was looking over at Corvette Blogger and some of the examples that they have on dealers behaving badly. So I'm sure everybody's seen now that the Mac Hike Chevrolet in Houston, Texas, the non-refundable deposit, it seemed a little bit much at $6,000, but you know, that part's not really what drew the most attention. It was the dealership asking for $90,000 of ADM, of a market adjustment. I mean, that's insane. But thanks to the internet and all different YouTubers and so many news channels, I mean, there's so many channels and stuff that broadcast this on the internet. The dealerships actually reversed course on this, and now they said that any of their Z06 allocations, they're going to sell them at MSRP, which that's a win for us. Honestly, that's probably a win for that dealership as well. I mean, you know, you're charging people wanting to charge people $90,000 over MSRP. That's got to leave a bad taste in some people's mouths. But you know, I guess some people can afford that type of markup. I know myself, I can't. I'm still in the camp of MSRP only. That might mean that I'm gonna have to wait a long time to get my car, and you know, so be it, because I'm not paying over sticker. Heck, in the C7 generation, the C7R edition car that I actually got that at GMS. So it was below MSRP by quite a bit, about $9,000, I believe. And that car stickered for like $115. So I think I paid like, you know, $106 or something. It was still a lot of money, but it was nothing like this new Z06. But then there's also Classic Chevrolet, Sugarland, Texas. So that's over there near Houston, I believe, as well. They're kind of doing the same thing, except they were doing an auction. So you bid on this auction to get the chance to get a car. And then in the fine print, they were actually saying that after you get the car, that you were also subject to market adjustments. I mean, I don't know. That's insane. That's pretty much insane. And then Rydell Chevrolet in Los Angeles, they're asking for 100,000 ADM. I haven't heard any more about that one, but I'm sure they're not going to change course, those two last dealerships there. I know my dealership's not one of the top 10. They're not even a top 100. They still sell quite a bit of Corvettes, but they're selling their Corvettes at MSRP. And I mean, you know, the news lately is that they're not going to, based on the constraints that came out for the Z06 information, it does sound like it's going to be very, very limited. You know, they're saying 10% of production. Well, they've only been making 25 to 26,000 C8 Corvettes a year so far, anyway. So, I mean, if you're talking 10%, I mean, 2,500 cars. Wow, that's all I can say on that is going to be extremely limited. But you know, it does seem like it's going to be an awesome car, and surprisingly, all of this hype, and they haven't really released like a top speed, which I'm not going to be going crazy with my car anyway, so it doesn't really bother me. Same thing with the ring time. I mean, yeah, it's cool if we got a ring time and stuff, but it's not a game changer for me. But the amount of hype and the amount of interest in this car currently, without having all of that information, is just amazing. Um, I can't even, I guess what bothers me the most is they already were having problems filling everyone's orders for C8s. Now, if you was on the list early enough, heck, there's a lot of people that have already gotten multiple C8s. Um, I elected not to go that route. I didn't want to get a base model C8 and take that away from somebody else getting it because I knew I would want the Z06, so I figured I would wait. Maybe in hindsight, I should have went ahead and got a C8 and got used to how the C8 drove and everything before going to the Z06. But I can't go back in time and change that. But they were already having a problem getting all the C8s out. But now you throw in the Z06, okay? They can only make so many vehicles. I believe it's like 180 something vehicles per day with 2 shifts running at Bowling Green plant. That's kind of their target goal. They aren't hitting that target goal completely every day, obviously. I mean, you're not. I mean, I'm in manufacturing myself, and so you're not always going to hit 100%. So that number, that's just, you're hopeful to hit that, but you're going to miss. So you got the C8s you're having a problem getting. Now you're going to throw in the Z06. Next is the E-Ray. Okay, so the E-Ray is going to take allocations away as well whenever that does come out. And then if they're going to make a ZR1 or if they're going to make a Zora, I mean, we're talking, they would have to be getting up into like 40 to 50,000 cars a year for people to kind of, I don't know. It just seems extremely, extremely far-fetched in today's world with the way material shortages are, personnel shortages, which I think the personnel shortages, speaking from somebody that's in manufacturing, I know in our state, in Georgia, we are seeing a bit of a turn on that where people are actually wanting to come back to work. So that's a good thing. But I mean, I don't know how it is in Bowling Green, Kentucky, but I don't know. I think I'm still going to be optimistic. I would love to get a Corvette this year. I don't know though. You don't know what's going to happen because, like I've said before in some of my other videos or comments to other, people that have commented on my channel, I don't want to compromise. Yes, I don't plan on tracking the car a bunch, but I would like to have the car where it had the Z07 package in case I did want to track the car. I guess it's not really required. I mean, I could go the route of don't get the Z07 package, but get the carbon ceramic brakes and all of that. I mean, it would save you about $8,000 doing it that way. But, in this day and age, it might come down to where, hey, if you want one of these cars, you've got to be willing to compromise because of the constraints. We'll see what happens, I guess. Hopefully the next round of allocations we'll actually see if this was just a fluke where some of the smaller dealerships got one Z06 or not allocation wise. I know my dealer, because I'm friends with most all of them there. I mean, I feel like my local dealer, I feel like they're family. I've done business with them forever, bought lots of vehicles from them. I refer a lot of people to them. I use them for service. I really like my dealership. Well, I won't say I like my dealership. I'll say I love my dealership. I've made some really great friends just from shopping there. But, my dealer originally, when I saw YouTube videos out about the allocation, I actually texted them up and was like, hey, did you guys by chance get any Z06 allocation? And they're like, 0. And I was like, well, the reason why I'm asking is I've seen several small dealerships on YouTube stating that they got one. And they were like, man, it's going to be so hard, to get what people want and this and that. Well, wasn't a few hours later, I got called and they said, you would not believe this. They're like, we got a total of 8 C8 allocations total. 0 Z06s. But they said before the day was over, they ended up getting an email stating that they got one Z06 allocation. Now the real question is if they had done like they normally do, and that morning they got their allocations and they went ahead and started filling all those allocations to match them to GM Workbench orders, what would have happened? Would they have just, oh, you submitted your 8 allocations, and so now you don't get a Z06 for one of them? I mean, could you imagine being that dealership to where you already know you're going to get a limited number of Z06s, and then now all of a sudden, they tell you you're going to get one, and then they say, oh, well, you actually already ordered you already matched up all your Corvettes today. That would have been horrible. Now, I don't know if that would have happened. Maybe GM would have said, hey, that was our screw up. You get this extra one or whatever. But all I know is when I was told that, I was just like, wow. I mean, that's amazing. And I was glad for him. I mean, I'm not the number one spot at my dealer, but I know who is, and so that was cool. I was glad that they got one. But then I started looking at all the constraints, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I wouldn't even if I would have been the one that was number one, I couldn't have got what I wanted because 70th anniversary was on constraint. So there's a lot of stuff like that I think, myself included, a lot of us are going to have to just kind of come to terms that, be hopeful that you'll get it. But when your name is called, you may be asked to make a compromise. And I just don't know if I could make a compromise. Interior stuff, I think I'd be more apt to make a compromise. Because you could always go back and add the carbon fiber interior pieces and things like that. But the Z07, that's not as easy to do. Obviously, the 70th anniversary, you can't just do that because I want the white pearl metallic tri-coat. So I have to get the 70th anniversary. That does bring up a good point, though. I mean, is the 70th anniversary going to, the actual, carbon flash black metallic or, white pearl tri-coat, are those going to be the most rare of the more modern cars as far as, numbers? Because if they're only going to make 2,500 Z06s this year, I mean, oh, wow, that's amazing. It's, I mean, the C7R that I had, it was, it was VIN number 503, but they actually, a lot of people misunderstand that car too. They think that they only made 500. They did not make 500. They actually made 650. It's just 500 were allotted to, I believe, North America or U.S., and the other 150 were allotted to other areas. So they did make, 650 of them was the actual number. And so mine, the one I had was 503. But I thought that car was rare. Well, the C8R edition, I believe they made 1,000 of those. So it wasn't even as rare as the C7R. But these 70th anniversaries, I mean, if it's a very small percentage of that 2,500, if it keeps getting put on constraint, that's going to be a really rare car. So I don't know. There's a lot of stuff going on. I hate it for people that aren't going to be able to get the car they want. I would say find something, like myself. At least I have a nice car that I can play around with until this I do get an allocation. Well, just let me know down in the comments what you guys think. I know I've talked back and forth with quite a few of you about some of this, where it's pretty much like, hey, don't get your hopes up. And I understand that. I mean, I'm not. I mean, I do think that maybe something can change. Maybe the material and stuff will start flowing in a little bit better, and they can actually get some cars produced. But until then, all we can do is just wait. But we should. I hope to start seeing some of these on the road. I would think in early October is kind of what I would think. I'm actually planning on going up to Bowling Green the end of September, so hopefully they'll have a Z06 on display somewhere up there. I haven't actually got to see one in person yet, so that'd be kind of cool. So I'm sure I'll do another tour of the museum up there while we're there. It's a cool place if anybody's not ever went up there. It's really neat. So if you're anywhere, if you ever buy there, you should definitely check it out. Or if you're ordering a Corvette, I mean, yeah, it is kind of, it's an extra, almost $1,000. But I haven't done it myself. That's why I want to do it on this Corvette, my next Corvette. But everybody says it's just a really amazing experience. So should be pretty cool. Hope you guys enjoyed the video today. I'm going to try to start having these anytime I see news or information on the Corvette, just to kind of tell you if I hear any news from my dealer or through the grapevine. I will end it at that, and I hope you all have an absolute great rest of your day and stay safe out there.